data file. I'll create a test data file. How normally we will be creating in reality. But test data file format will be different ways. In the real time. Okay. So, but what we'll do, I'll just create one format. So the format will be like this. Say test case ID. Okay, test case ID, and then the data here. Browser type. Which browser, in which browser it has to open, and URL, which URL it has to open, username, password, then first name of employee. Normally, remember that whenever you are parameterizing, one of the standard is keep all the column headers in uppercase. Okay, in Excel and all, whenever you are creating, and don't keep the spaces and all in the column names. Whenever there is a browser type, right, there are two terms here, two words. Then underscore should be the separator. Normally, it should not have any spaces and all. That's not a standard. Then last name, and EMP ID, and then location, then say with credentials or without credentials, and then username and password. Username is not you can give new username, then give as new password. That's it. So we got it. So I just created the columns here. Next, employee test case ID first. EMP create 001 like this. Then I'll say Chrome browser it has to open. HTTP enterprise.demo.orangehrm.live.com. Then username is a admin. First name, you can give any first name, no problem. I'll give as test EMP, and EMP ID I'll just give this. Location, then I'll say Texas HD. Okay, then with credentials, no. Then when there is no with credentials, you don't need to give this. Right. Next, EMP underscore create 002. I mean, different test cases are there. One is without credentials but a new employee ID by user defined employee ID. But sometimes employee ID will be auto populated. Then I need to keep that as it is. Then enterprise. Then again admin, and some EMP, something like that. And then employee ID auto populated. I am not passing that auto employee ID here. It will be auto populated. Development side auto populated in a sense in the application. Employee ID will be auto populated. Then it keeps as it is whatever the employee ID generated there. With credentials, no. Next, EMP create underscore 003. MP003. Next. So what I have to do, I may need to run this in same URL. Then you can say there are different types of users that we do have here. Enterprise, right? Enterprise.demo.nanda.dreddy.com and user in the investor. Okay, so there are certain users who will not be having any authentication to create the employees. Say Linda Anderson doesn't have the employee ID creation. Changing user. So you need to verify that. This is only to check whether this user has got the permission or has got the authority to create the employee or not. I'm just giving, and then I'll say Texas HT. Let's say no. I mean, you can write any data there. Then 004 save IE. You can give any. Then you can give any. So here this time we give as S, the new username, test employee 1, 2, 3, something like that. Then you can give a new password here. Okay. So now I have created the data file like this. How many total 4 data sets are there, and probably we may be having more 4 test cases that I have created. So let me just make something of it. And it's not mandated to have borders and all, but it looks good when we have borders. Looks like a table. That's it. Okay. Now save this data file. You can save the data file here only, wherever you are saving the script. Data file. Next, just to say rename create underscore employee. The remaining sheets you can delete or you can keep if you want. But what I'm saying here, fine. So str data file path str data file path would be, what is that? This one, right? Right. I'm giving data file path here. Next, set coexcel equals to create object excel dot application. So what I'm doing here, I'm just creating an Excel application object instance. Then what we have to do, we need to read the data file, right? Then we need to open that particular workbook. Then you say set workbook equals to how Excel dot workbooks dot open. Here data file path. Okay. Next, Now when you say O sheet, right, you need to access the sheet. But what I'm doing now is str sheet name equals to, what is that, create. What is the sheet name that we have given there? Create underscore emp. Okay. So what we are doing now, first, okay, what I have to do is here, just need to find the sheet to check whether sheet is available or not. Okay. Now the question is, we know how to access the sheet, right? Say overworkbook dot overworkbook dot worksheets or from the sheet name that you can give. What is mean by this? What is mean by that? You are accessing the sheet, right? Whatever the sheet that you have given. But I don't know whether the sheet is available or sheet is not available. If the sheet is available, then it will access. But in case if the sheet is not available, what happens? Getting what I am saying here? So in case if the sheet is available, it will access this. If the sheet is not available, then again it will throw the error. But instead of getting that error, in case if the sheet is not available, then if we can, before accessing that sheet, first we need to verify whether that particular sheet is available in the Excel or not. But we don't have any method called sheet exists. Getting what I am saying here? So I just need to verify whether the sheet is exist or not before we go. So how do we do that? But as I told, we don't have any method, direct method to check whether the sheet is available or not. Like Excel file is available or not, you can say fso.file exists. But in that file, sheet is whatever the sheet that I have given. I need to read the data from a particular sheet, but I don't know whether that sheet is available or not. So whenever you provide a sheet name, first before it access the sheet, it has to check whether that sheet is available or not. In case if the sheet is not available, then give a message saying that okay, given sheet is not available in the data file. If the sheet is not available, sheet is available, then okay, access that particular sheet. How do we do that? Any idea? Just logic. Yeah, but we need to first which sheet that we need to access? Not only first sheet, right? Okay. Come back again. Right, that is right, but just come back. Okay. Okay. You know why I'm asking to come back? Eh? See, till here is perfectly telling them. Then why you are adding? Logic is 100% right there. Seriously, logic is 100% right. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Simple, right? And after that, no message box. Little bit. If the sheet is, if retrieved sheet name equals to expected sheet name, we access that sheet name. If no sheet is matching, then we will display message in no sheet form. That's it. Just one point you missed out. Okay. So the logic is like this. First, what we do? We will count the total number of sheets. Then we will retrieve the name of each and every sheet. Okay, so looping through first sheet to last sheet total count. Access one by one sheet and get the name of each sheet. In case if any sheet name is matched, then we will take that. Else, no, if the no sheet is matching, not else. If no sheet name is matching with expected sheet name, then I will display message. No sheet is found. Then what we do here? First, the question is, how do we get how many sheets are there? Then, workbook dot worksheets dot count. So this method is used to count how many sheets are there in the Excel. To count how many Excel sheets are there in the file, workbook, whatever the workbook that we have. You can say now for I equals to 1 to total sheets. For I equals to 1 to total sheets. Then set O sheet equals to O workbook dot worksheets of I. You know what I am doing here? So I value will be starting from 1 right here. First time it will be worksheets of 1. What it means? Worksheets of 1, first sheet. Next time it will be 2. Second sheet it will retrieve worksheets of 2. 3, worksheets of 3. Third worksheet. Okay. Then str actual sheet name equal to O sheet dot name. Whatever the sheet that you are accessing, I am getting the name of the sheet. Then, if UCase of trim of str actual sheet name equal to UCase of trim of str sheet name, then okay, so you will come out of the loop. If you come out of the loop, whatever is there in O sheet will be containing that sheet on and say that BLN sheet found equals to true and default value. Yesterday we have seen the use of this flag variable, right? Then you say it as false. Then if the variable value remains false, then if give a message box saying that no sheet found given name. What is the name? str sheet name, right? Then you need to close that workbook because you have to stop it. Close the workbook and then quit from application and then quit from VBScript. Let me change the font here. Okay. So did you understand the logic? What are you doing here? So first I'm getting the total number of sheets here. I'm just counting the sheets. And then I have defined one flag variable, and the variable default value I have given as false. So false value will be set in the variable. Then I am looping through 1 to the total number of sheets. If there are only one sheet, 1 to 1 it will be. If 3 sheets are there, 1 to 3. If more are there, like that. Okay, so it will, how many sheets are there in the Excel? It will be coming into total sheets here. Then what I am doing is, I am looping through first sheet to last sheet. How many are there? I am accessing one by one sheet. When I say I here, I is nothing but counter variable. I value will be starting from 1 initially, so it will be worksheets of 1, worksheets of 2, worksheets of 3. One by one sheet it will access. Then actual sheet name, yeah. So whatever the sheet that I am accessing here, I am retrieving the name of that particular sheet, every sheet, whatever I am accessing. I am storing that sheet name, whatever the sheet that I am, whatever the name that I am retrieving, from each sheet, I am storing that sheet name in a variable called str active sheet name. So str sheet name, expected sheet name I am giving here. Then whatever the sheet name that I am retrieving from Excel workbook every time, I am comparing that actual sheet name with expected sheet name. If both are matching, then change the flag variable value to true and come out of the loop. Then why I am changing the flag variable to true? Because after the loop I need to verify. Okay, it has come out after completing with all iterations and no sheet found, or it has come out of the loop by using exit first. So if loop has come out by using exit first, that means sheet found, right? So to verify that, we are using flag variable. So before I am coming out of the loop, and in case if the sheet is found, I am changing the flag variable value to true. And what will be there in O sheet? Whatever the sheet matched here, right? Whatever the sheet is matched, that will be there in the O sheet automatically. The last sheet, whatever is matched. Then if this flag variable value, initial value is false, will become true only when the sheet is matched. It will become true only sheet is matched. But if it remains false here, not true, that means that this condition is not satisfied for any of the sheet. If this condition was satisfied for any of the sheet, it would have executed this. Then variable value should have been changed to true. If the variable values remain false, that means that, okay, nowhere this condition is satisfied. So if this condition is not satisfied anywhere, that means that no sheet is matched with the expected sheet name. Then what I am doing here, I am just displaying that sheet is not found. Then why I am closing this workbook under Excel? Because I need to stop my execution. If I don't close the workbook, whatever I have opened, then you saw that by default it will be open in hidden mode, and then you will not be able to open again until unless you fill the process. Instead of doing that, okay, before I close that workbook, make sure that I close the workbook. Fine. So this is the process of checking whether that sheet is available or not, whatever the sheet. Okay, logic is done. So O sheet, in case if the sheet is not found, it will be stopping here, it will not come. If it is coming here, that means the sheet is found. Okay. So next what I need to do is, I need to read the data from the sheet. I will provide the column name. I will provide the test case name first, and then I will provide the column name, and then based on that it has to read the data. Okay. Now assume I am executing the test case call. I am executing the test case emp create 003. I am executing this test case. Okay. Now whatever the data that I want to retrieve, the data is related to this test case. but I don't know where the test case is, in which row. Okay, so earlier we said 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, like that, or 3 comma 2 column names. But now I don't know the row number in which row the test case is there. Today it could be there in the 4th row, but tomorrow I may introduce one more test case on top of it, or I may delete one of the test case, so that the test case row number also will be changing, right? But for now I can say 4, but it's not 4 all the time. So what you have to do now? You need to understand row number. So what you need to do is, to understand the row number, logic will be like this. Okay, so the scenario is like this. Okay, get the row number based on test case ID. Okay, because row numbers will be keep changing based on test cases. Right? Now, what should I do here? First, what I need to do is, again, where the test case ID is there, under TCID column, right? But TCID column also, yesterday we have seen that column numbers also will be keep changing every time. So in such cases, how do we understand the column number first? Then first understand where the TCID column is there, and then second logic will be, under this column, get the test case ID for each test case, that whatever we have written from each row. To that, first we need to understand total rows are there, how many rows are there, and then loop to second row to last row, retrieve the data from each row under this column. Then compare with your expected test case. If any test case is matching with your given ID, then take that row number. That's a logic that we need to write. But first we need to understand where this column is, then we can loop through the rows. Then yesterday we have written that logic, right? Get the column number by name. Get the column number by name, column name, you can say. Logic will be like this. Yesterday the logic what we have written here. Get total number of columns, then loop through first column to last column, then get the name of each column, usually first row will be the column header, right? So row number will be given as 1 while retrieving the column headers, right? Then get the name of each column, then compare the retrieved column header with expected column. Then if any column is matching with expected column, get the column number, right? Get the column number. That's a logic that we need to write. Now let's see how that logic works exactly. Okay, what's our first requirement here? First understand total number of columns are there, how many columns are there, right? You say total columns equals to, few things are being repeated, that means that those are very important. So use range dot columns dot count. Then for I equals to 1 to total columns, then str column header equals to osheet dot cells of 1 comma I dot value. If str column header equals to str expected column name, then getting what I am saying here. So first, okay, I am getting total number of columns and then looping through first column to last column, and I am retrieving column header. How I am retrieving? As I told, okay, usually first row will be the column headers. So I am giving the row number as 1 while retrieving the column header here. Next, I am comparing with str column header. Generally use U case because people don't know while they are giving input they may give in small case, or in Excel some people might create in small case even though standard is uppercase, but still some people do that. So just give it. Next, if any of the column number is matching with that, then you can say int column number equals to I. I mean which column number is matching. I represents the column number here. So wherever it is matching, I am taking that I number and storing it in another variable. Then it takes it for. But sometimes the column might not be found, right? Column might not be there. So what I am doing is initial value of this int column is 0, right? So in case if the column is found, int this variable will be updated with I value. There is no possibility that I will be 0, right? I will be starting from 1. So if it is matching at first column itself, int column number will be updated with 1. If it is second column, int column number will be 2. But now after completing this loop, if int column number is 0 only, what does it mean? So this is not updated with I value. What does it mean? Nowhere this condition is satisfied. If this condition is satisfied, then int column number should have been updated with I. So that will be our validation next. If int column number remains 0, then give a message box saying that no column found with given str expected column name. Then you say overbook.close and oxl.quit and then VBScript.quit. Fine. We got this logic what I have written here. Same, whatever the logic we have written yesterday, same logic it is. Okay. If you do this now, this logic is for how many columns? 1 column. But again, we need to retrieve the data for all the columns, right? Not only just TCID. And same logic should be written for browser type, same logic should be written for URL, same logic should be written for all the remaining columns, not only this sheet. I mean, we may need to create a lot of data sheets there. It depends on different scenarios, right? So, if I write this much logic, how many lines of code we have written? From 25 to 40. That means 15 lines of code. 16, but in between one blank line leave that. So total, you have written 15 lines of code to retrieve the column number by column name if you provide. So if I have 10 columns, how many lines it will become? 150 lines. 15 into 10, 150 lines. If I have 20 columns, then 300 lines of code. Just to retrieve the column numbers, we are writing very many lines of code, which is not the right thing to do. So what should we do here? Yeah, so instead of, since the logic is same, But only thing is column name and the sheet might be changing every time. So what we do? So instead of writing the logic again and again same logic, we will create that as a function. So input for the function should be from which sheet you need to get what is the column name you are looking for. Output of the function must be number, column number, right? In which column it is found. So the output of the column must be int column number. Input will be sheet, not only same sheet every time. It will be the sheet also will be changing every time, right? So which sheet it is and what is the column that you are looking for. So what I am doing now, say function get column number. I am writing the function name. Arguments of column number will be sheet comma str expected column name. Getting what I am saying here? I am passing two arguments for the function. Say end function here. Now how that function returns the value? In case if int column is 0, give a message box and stop. Else get column number equals to int column number. So what does it mean? In case if the int column number is 0, stop the execution. Int column is not 0, function returns the column number. That's it. So two arguments. Now we can use this for any of the column here. So I will keep the functions at the end always. So now what you can do is say cnum for id equals to get column number of sheet is O sheet only here, comma column number is TCID. We need to get the column for TCID, right? I am giving that column number. So str expected column number will be TCID. So it will search for TCID column in the given sheet here, whatever the sheet. So for if any so if you want for other test case, other column, then you can give a particular column name there. Getting what I am saying? This is the main use of function here. This is the main use of function. So you can make the scripts reusable or piece of code reusable. Then, so I got the column number for TCID. Next, what should I do? What should I do here in between? I need to understand in which row the test case is there, right? I need to get the row number based on data and column number, right? Okay. So I have given the test case ID here, whatever the test case that I am executing, test case ID I am giving. I need to understand in which row the test case is found. So what should you do here? First understand total rows. Total rows equals to OSheet dot use range dot rows dot count. Okay. So you can give anything here. Row number equals to 1 to total rows. Don't use I all the time. I mean for all the loops within the same script. Sometimes that gives a problem. Then you don't need to execute from first to you have to say 2 to. Then str val equals to, I am giving just generic variable name because not only test case ID, tomorrow you may search for different things. Make it as common. Okay, OSheet dot cells of rn comma, I'll say int column number. That will be a function argument, whatever the column number, dot value. If ucase of trim of strval equal to ucase of trim of str expected val. Then you know what I am doing here. If any of the value is matching with the expected value in any row under that column, then say int row number equals to rn, then exit for, you know what I am doing here. Int row number equals to initial value of int row number will be 0. So this is to understand the row number. So what you can say, if int row number remains 0, then what does it mean? If int row number is 0 only, no row is found. Then you can say given value str expected value is not found in any of the row. Just give a message box. Then you can say overbook.close, then oxl.quit, and then wscript.quit. That's it. Else, I will write a function for this. Function get row number is sheet comma str expected value comma column number, right? Function. So to retrieve a row number, another function. Else, in case if int row number is 0, stop the execution. If int row number is not 0, so function returns the value here. So inputs for the function will be in which sheet and what is the value you are searching for, under which column you are searching for. Okay, column number. So it will take that value for comparison. To retrieve the value, row number will be increasing inside only. First it will get the total number of rows from the sheet and it will loop through second row to last row in the given sheet, and value will be retrieved in each row under the given column number. You need to provide under which column that you need to search. Then wherever the value, any of the value is matching with the expected value, that whatever you provide here, then it will take that row number, right? So now in case if this row number remains 0, default value, then no row is found with that. If int row number is not 0, when it will become more than 0, only if any of the column is found, then return that value to the function. That's it. Yeah. How many? Three arguments are passed place, right? No, it depends actually. It depends, right? You can place n number of arguments. So if you want more logic, more reusable, you can pass more arguments, no problem. It's not only one argument. So like this, you will be creating plenty of the functions going forward. That's why I told that creating functions is one of the crucial part for us. And not only, we have seen some examples earlier, but going forward we'll be seeing more examples everywhere, because every piece of code that whatever we are going to use from now onwards, almost we need to make it as reusable. Same functions probably we may need to use in automating the application also going forward. Okay, so remember these functions and store these functions with in a separate place. So next time when we are doing real automation, right, we are going to use the same functions and then you can see the real usage of it. Okay, now next what you need to do, you need to understand the row number for the test case, right? I'll say int row number equals to get row number of, first one is row sheet, second one is data, nothing but column name, value, str value is the second input, comma, column number would be, you know what does it mean here? In this sheet, search for this value under this column. To get that column, and under TCID column only I need to search for test case name. But I don't know where the TCID column, so that I am getting the column number first and then I am trying to search in the same column. So now that will give me the row number. If you want to see that, it is in 4th row, right? Expected enough statement, line number 70. Here ampersand is installed. Concatenation. It's there in 4th row. So even tomorrow if the column number is changed, say serial number now column number is changed. Still it is retrieving, right? And what happened is now row number also changing now. So it should be now this time automatically it is retrieving, right? But if you hardcode the value here, instead of retrieving automatically, if you hardcode the value, every time whenever the row number is changed, column number is changed, you need to come to the script and then you need to update the row number. But this is how you have to write the programs, always remember that. Why we don't hardcode the value? Because of this. Because row numbers and column numbers will be keep changing every time. So this is not good. So first to understand the column number based on the column header that you provide, then we will write one function to just get the column number, to get the row number, another function. So like this we are going to write some more functions, okay, later. Okay, so now what you have to do, whenever you want to retrieve the value, for any of that. Now I need to retrieve the browser type. Now I know the row number, where that row number is. Right? It is in 3rd row now. So next time all the data, whatever the data that I am going to retrieve now for this test case, I have to retrieve from 3rd row only. Okay. So next what I have to do is, I need to retrieve the browser type. We are going to write just some small piece of code. Okay. So what I have to do here, to retrieve the column number first, say cnum for browser equals to get column number for browser underscore type. This is the column name, right? We have given type. So that what it will do, it will go to this sheet and it will search for this column, number will be returned to this. Right? But instead of getting like this, because if there are 20 columns, again line count will be increased. So do one thing directly. You can say str browser type equals to, directly get the value like this. Osheet dot cells of row number will be, say, into row number, comma, column number. What you do is, instead of getting like this, You know what I am doing here? You can directly provide like that, because when this line gets executed, whatever the line it is, when this line gets executed, one of the argument is nothing but function call, right? That function will return the value, right? That value will be automatically passed to the argument. That's how we can reduce the lines of code even. You don't need to get the returned value from the function and pass as an argument value. For the argument, you can directly refer the function call. So that function will be executed first. That function will be executed, whatever the value returned by that function, that value will be passed to the argument. So this is how normally we will reduce the lines of count always. But if you retrieve that column number first and then pass that returned value to the argument, 2 lines you will create. So if there are 10 columns, 10 extra lines will come. But you can avoid those 10 extra lines by writing like this. Okay. So for an argument, you can refer a function call also, if the function is returning the value. Okay, fine. Now str URL equals to say URL. That's it. Then username. Str username equals to, what is the column name that we have provided? Username. Simple. Going for, you don't need to write any logic or anything now, because functions have been created. This is the main use of functions. So once the functions are created, your scripting will be very faster. You don't need to write remaining logic. So this is why, in the real-time framework model will come into the picture once you complete the automation. So when you're defining framework, right, you define the data file structures and all like this, and then you define all, the complete architecture of your automation, and then you write a lot of functions like this. So when you are writing the scripts in the real, then you don't need to spend too much of time on writing the program. What you can do, just by calling those functions, then you can achieve whatever you want by using all this user-defined functions. In case if no functions are created, some of the functions might not be created, then you create the functions. Otherwise, when the framework implementation comes into the picture, we create all these functions and keep the functions ready so that everybody can use in the automation. See now, okay, my script will be very fast, very quick now, because I don't need to understand the row number, I don't need to understand the column number or anything. Okay, so I can directly, my script itself will understand the column number, row numbers. But I just need to provide the column headers, and I just need to provide name and okay. Then str emp id equals to emp id. Then you can retrieve all the data whatever you want. Next, last time I have retrieved location. Then next, okay, for now that's it. Then I'm just displaying all here. Str browser type, then str URL, then str username, then str password, then stremp id, then str location. I'm just displaying, that's it. Now run it. Third row, you can see IE enterprise.demo.rnhrm line. So username, password, and employee ID is empty. So location. So in case if you have done any changes, employee ID, save it. It is retrieving that employee ID. So now that is if you are executing this test case. Now assume my test case, okay, I am executing a different test case now. I don't need to do any change. What I will do? I'll just go here and update the test case ID. See what happens now. It will automatically go to the test case and then it will retrieve a different one. Right? So if I give another test case, it will automatically retrieve it. So scripting will be very easy now. Now if you want to execute for all the test cases, loop from second row to last row and get the data from every row and then execute it. So this is the main use of functions, and this is how normally in the reality we read the data from Excel. We directly don't need. See at the end the method what we have written is that sheet dot cells of row number comma column number mandatorily. So that's how you read the data from cell. Sheet dot cells of row number comma column number. But to get that row number and column number, instead of hard coding it, then we have to write many things like that. Okay, so this is how we create functions like this. We got now how to read the data from Excel. Okay, so now let's do one thing here. This is the data set, and then once this is executed, right, what I need to do is I need to update the result. I need to update the result. Okay, so just assumption is whatever the test case that I provide, it reads the data, test case will be executed, then we are capturing the result from the script, and then I need to update the result like this. If it is pass, then update it as result as pass, and mark the font as or the background color as green. If it is fail, then fail that, write it as fail, and mark the font color or background color, whatever it is, as red, so that will be easy for us to track. Getting what I am saying here? Okay, now so after retrieving the data and displaying, I need to update it, but it's not just display that what we use. Assume that we are writing the real script there for login and logout for all these things, right? So for the complete, we have written the script, and script will be executed. For now, we are not writing that script because we have not entered into real automation A. But assume that okay, we will hard code pass or fail here for a while. So later we will place the real piece of code to test the application. Okay, so in between. Okay, so what I will do is how to write the data into the column. Now I'll say str result equals to, I'm hard coding the result for now, but the str result will be updated automatically based on the application. Okay, so we are going to place the real piece of code, but not now, after some time. Okay, so what should I do now? I have to write this result, whatever the result that I am getting, I have to write this result in this row. Why in this row? Because test case is found in this row under result column. Then what I am doing is here sheet dot int column number for result equals to get column number, right? get column number of result. What I am doing here, I am getting the column number for result. Okay. O sheet dot cells of row number is int row number, comma column number is int column number for result. In this row, in this column, dot value equals to str result. So you know what I am doing here? I am writing the result into the result column under the row where the test case is found. Then you have to save that workbook now because you are updating, right? Right? Sorry, it is saved. Yeah, it is being updated here. But as I told, when it is passed, what it has to do? It has to change the font color as green and make it as bold. For result, make it as bold. Some styling and all that I need to do. How do I do that? That's a question here. So working with font styles now. Then how do we do that? Okay. So when you set that cells dot value, right, it will set or retrieve the value, current value. But if you want to work with the font inside the cell, then there is a different way that you need to do. That cells of so row number, comma column number dot. There is another thing called font. Cells dot font is used to access the font, to work with the font styles. It will not retrieve the value. It will just access the font style within the cell. Then dot color. Font dot color. To change the color of the font. Equal to, or you can retrieve the current color of the font in the cell, or you can change the font color as well. So it is like this: sheet dot cells of so row number, comma column number dot font dot color. Then equal to all column names, sorry, color names should be given like this: VB and color name. VB stands for visual basic. These are constant names that we call it as VB red, VB blue, VB green, VB yellow, VB white. Okay, all this. Also, you can give color index number. Every color will have index number. But when you are providing the name of the color, you say font dot color. If you are providing the color number, not color it is. There is something called color index. So every color will have some index number, 0 to 54 or 55. I forgot. So there's many colors are there. You can provide color numbers, color index like that. But it is too difficult to remember the color index, so that we can give color name. Getting what I am saying here? So sometimes you may need to write. This is one of the situations, because you have to track how many are executed, how many are passed, how many failed and all, because I will be executing for a lot of data sets. So for every data set, once it is executed, depends on the script status, then you have to say pass or fail. Okay. Now let's see how that works. You want to say the changes. Change it to 3. Next, what should I do? I need to make it as bold, right? Font dot bold equal to, bold is just on or off set. True or false. False means don't make bold. True means make it as bold. Then if you want to make it as italic, italic equal to true. If you want to make it as underline, underline equals to true. If you want to increase the size, font dot size equal to whatever the size that you want. Any size you can give them. Or if you want to change the name of the font, you know the name of the font, right? Arial, Times New Roman, all this. Then font dot name equals to any font name that you can do. Now let's see. I'm making it as bold, I'm making it as italic, I'm making the size as 12, and then I'm underlining it, and I'm changing the font name as Arial. You can see bold is on, italic is on, yeah, and its font is 12, and then font name is Arial. But if you select a different one, it is different. So that's how you can change anything there. You can change, you can review any font style that whatever you want. So what we'll do now is, okay, let it be normal font only. Normal font only. Keep the bold as false. Italic also false. I don't want. This also false. Font will be 10, and this is the name of the font, I guess, right? Fine. Now, this is quite common. In case if I give fail, what should happen? This should be red color, right? In case if it is warning, it should be yellow. So, do like this. Select case. You know what is meant by select case, right? Select case, str result, case pass, do this. Case fail, say VB red. Case warning, VB yellow. Case else, I mean, no need to do anything. Generally, these are common statuses will be there. Then select. So that's how you write the case. You know why I am using case here? Because only one possibility will be there. Either pass or fail or warning. No other possibility will be there. So action also will be different based on the output. Output will be, sometimes it will be pass, or it may be fail, or it may be warning. You can also still write like this. If str result equals to pass, then do one thing. Else if str result equals to fail, do another thing. Else if str result equals to warning, do another thing. You can also write like this. But instead of writing in the if and else if here, since the output is unique and the action is unique to the output and only one output at a time, then I just went for select case. Okay. So this is one of the situation where we can use select case. Fine. Okay, so it is passed now. Anyway, it is in green. What I will do is here I will give the test case as fail. I'll change the test case to 2. I'm marking it as fail. So it is in red now. Now another test case I am giving as 3 and status is one. Hello. So that's how you can change the font. So you can style per particular cell. Now this time I don't want like font color to be changed, font style remaining bold and all, okay. But instead of font color remain normal, okay. So font color should remain normal only. But what I need to do is, in case if it is fail, background color of the cell need to be changed. Background color of the cell need to be changed. So to change the font color, what did we do? Font dot color, right? But instead of font dot color this time, not background. To access the background of a cell, we call it as interior. Interior dot color, background color. But for bold all those things, font only, but only for background color, cell background color if you want to use, say interior dot color. Interior dot color means font, background color. Now, instead of font, it is changing background color. To mark it as fail. Background color is being changed. So like this data parameterization all happens in the reality. This is what generally we do with the Excel. So we will store all the required data with it depends on how many sets of data you want to execute, what all that you need to execute. Sometimes we need to read the data from Excel, sometimes we need to write the data into Excel. Okay, and nowhere, if you see that nowhere the row number and the column number is hard coded. So column number and row number will be automatically retrieved everywhere. So we have to write this many functions. And sometimes we need to work with the background colors like that, or sometimes we need to work with font styles. Okay, so because we need to update the status and all. Got what I am saying here? Okay, apart from this, we have to do few more things here. So what I need is, okay, sometimes assume that whenever we read the data, or sometimes I may need to delete the entire row once I complete reading the data from the Excel, or sometimes some of the rows might be duplicated or not. I may need to delete one or two rows there in the Excel, or I may need to delete some columns are unwantedly come. Some columns are unwanted there, and then column numbers are deleted. So you need to delete the column numbers. You need to delete the columns there. So sometimes you need to delete the rows, or sometimes you need to delete columns. Or sometimes what I need is some data, whatever is available, I may need to copy this entire data copy from here and I may need to paste it to different sheet. Copy the data, not just one cell. I need to copy a range. Or I'm changing the background color of one cell here. But instead of one cell, then I may need to change the background color of range of cells. Okay, we will stop here today and tomorrow we will see them. Okay, so tomorrow also it will be at 8. Tomorrow also it will be at. Okay, so tomorrow we can have a little long session.